Good day, everyone. Today, we will explore how media drive globalization, how local and global cultures shapes each other, and what it truly means to live in this interconnected world. We will see how this connection changes how we think, live, and relate to one another. Our topic for this video is all about globalization and media creating the global village. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the dynamic between local and global cultural production, define mass media, identify the functions of mass media, recognize the importance of mass media, discuss the ethical philosophies and ethical problems in mass media. Before we discuss all about this, let's find out what is globalization and media creating the global village. Globalization is the process of increasing interconnectedness and integration among countries through trade. For example, sa trade, we import product from other countries and export ours to them. Technology and communication. So the internet, phones, and travel make it easy to talk, work, and share instantly across borders. Culture, for example, music, movies, food, fashions, and traditions spread worldwide. So we know more about each other ways of living. So that is globalization at work. Next is media. Media is a plural form for medium. It means any channels or tools we use to share information, ideas, news, or message with people. Before 20th century, TV, radio, magazines, and newspapers, these were the main sources of information for everyone. But now, the internet has become the biggest and fastest way to share anything, everywhere. So this mass media plays a big role in our lives. Next is global village. The term global village was coined by Canadian media theorist Marshall McLuhan in 1964. McLuhan said that television was turning the whole world into a global village. It means electronic media brings people everywhere closer together, like neighbors in one small village. Local global cultural dynamics. How they interact. Global media brings international trends like music, movies, and ideas into local communities. While ang local cultures is shared worldwide through media, spreading our traditions, values, and creativity. As a result, a mix of global influences and local identity, creating a global village where everyone is connected.
This communication and media. Communication media are not institutions that specialize in communicating information, image, and values about self or communicators on our society. There are example communication media. First, television. Second, newspaper. Third, social media. YouTube, streaming platform, news, website, and blogs. And thank you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wawijun Pilumindas, and I'm here to report about my topic, television and violence. So, what is television and violence? Television and violence can destroy a young child mind. The effect of this violence can be long-lasting, if ever never-ending for some television. At its worst, is an assault on a child mind, an insidious influence that upsets moral balance and makes a child prone to aggressive behavior as it warps his or her perception of the world. So these are examples of harmful or risky behavior often portrayed on TV, and how exposure can affect viewers, especially young people. So we have example number 1, teenagers love affairs. Ang maagang pag-ibig hindi bawal, pero dapat responsable. Ang problema lang, kapag sa TV mukhang madali at walang consequence ito. Pero sa totoong buhay, may epekto ito sa pag-aaral, pamilya at sa ating kinabukasan. So, we have example number 2, increased aggression. Ang increased aggression ay pagiging mas marahas at mainitin ang ulo. Ang sobrang panonood ng away at gulo sa TV ay pwedeng magturo sa utak na okay lang manakit, pero tandaan, choice pa rin natin kung gagayahin natin o hindi. Kailangan nating matutong magalit ng tama para hindi makasakit sa ating kapwa. So we have example number 3, desensitization. Ang desensitization ay pagiging manhid sa karahasan dahil sa sobrang exposure. Hindi ibig sabihin na masama ka na, ibig sabihin lang nanliliit na yung pakiramdam mo sa mga bagay na hindi dapat bigyan ng halaga. Kaya importante pa rin na pumili ng magandang pinapanood at alalahanin na hindi lahat ng nasa TV ay dapat gayahin sa totoong buhay. And we have a last, substance abuse correlation. Ang substance abuse correlation ay nangangahulugan na mas tumaas ang tsansa na subukan ng isang teenager ang sigarilyo, alak o droga kung palagi niya itong nakikita sa TV na parang normal lang o maganda. So that's all. Thank you.
Media power and its limits. Media power, a familiar expression in modern societies, is information is power. That because media control such a large and diverse flow of information, they have immense power. Question about the power of media become especially urgent when one imagines what could happen if control of the media fell into the hand of groups that oppose democratic institutions. So, what if media control falls into hand that oppose democracy? For example, isa ka high position nga politician. So, wala nila ang usa ka organization. For example, ang ABS-CBN. So, wala nila ang ABS-CBN na mag-release og mga mali na information sa social media. So, that's why that is called media power. Because media can influence public opinion, elections, and society. Media power has its limits. The first limit is technological limits. When media is independent, not controlled by politicians or powerful groups, it's way harder for anyone to manipulate what we say. And modern technology makes this even stronger. We now have so many options like social media, news sites, streaming platform. So we got to choose what we watch and believe. No single groups can force sa ato na mutanaw sa isa ra ka videos. That's a big limit on media power. Second is social limits. Another limit on the power of the media is the nature of communication itself. So research have not found a direct link between persuasive message and actual behavior. So means no direct link between media message and what we do. So research shows just because media says something doesn't mean we'll automatically do it or change our values. Our cultures, belief, and norms are deep. They don't shift just because TV or social media tell us to. Ug naabot tayo ginatawag na two-step flow of communication. Means na mga message or information na gikan sa media moagi pa na sa mga respected individuals like community leaders. Ayha nila i-evaluate and interpret sa ato. So media is powerful but still needs real people to help spread ideas. That's another big limit on its power.
When Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will discuss my topic media ethics. So, media ethics comprise that moral principles and standards that guide journalists, content creators, and media professionals. There are 6 examples of media ethics. First, accuracy. Check facts and ensure all details are correct. So this means checking the fact and make sure all details. I make sure that all information is correct. Second, objectivity. Report without personal bias or favoritisms. So we should not favor one side because of our personal opinion. And third, not misleading. So fourth, fairness balance. So give equal space to all side of a story. Giving equal opportunity of space to different side of a story. Integrity of source, so protect and respect where information come from. So protecting and respecting the source of the information. Source, so protect and respect where information come from. Avoid conflict interest. Separate personal gain from professional duty. So, this means separating personal interest or personal gain from your professional responsibilities. That's all.
Good evening, everyone. My topic is ethical principles and versus media ethics. Ethical principles are the fundamental universal moral values that define what is right, fair, and responsible of all. Examples: truthfulness, be honest and accurate. Fairness, treat everyone equally and no favoritism. Number 3, integrity, do what is right even no one sees you, or buhaton nimo ang tama even if walay nakakita sa imo or walay nakanaw sa imo. Accountability, take responsibility for all your actions and decisions. And the last is justice, act responsibly and give everyone what is due. Ethical principles versus media ethics. Ethical principles is mga simpleng tamang asal na pwedeng apply sa lahat ng tao or sa lahat ng aspekto sa buhay. And ang media ethics is mga rules niya is ma-apply lang only in mga reporters or content creators. And that's all. Thank you.
The 3 ethical philosophies. The first ethics principles is deontological ethics. Deontological ethic is the ethics of duty. It means doing what's right, not because of the result, but because it's our duty. Some actions are always right, and some are always wrong. No exceptions. Fixed rules. They are universal and changing principles, whether from nature, reason, or fit. These rules don't change based on the situations. The end never justifies the means. So, meaning, even if something good could come from it, doing something wrong is still wrong. You can't use bad methods just to get a good outcome. And also, gitawag siya absolutism or legalism. That because the rules are absolute, they apply to everyone always. So that is meaning of deontological ethics. The seconds are teleological ethics. Basically, it's all about the result. Teleological ethics says that whether something is right or wrong, it depends on what's happened because of it, not the action itself. So the consequence matters more than the act. The big idea here is the end justify the means. That means if the outcome is good, it's okay, even if the way we got there wasn't perfect. It's not like there are strict rules that never change. It's more flexible and depends on the situations. For examples, if I have to lie to keep my friends safe, teleological ethics would say that's okay because the result, keeping my friends safe, is more important thing. So that's the meaning of teleological ethics. And last, situation ethics. Situation ethics is kind of the middle ground, no? When people ask, does the end justify the means? Situations ethics don't say yes or no. It says it's all depends. Or nakadepende ra. It's not following strict rules no matter what. And it's not just doing whatever gives the best result either. It's looking at the whole situations, the people involved, the context, the reasons behind it, and deciding what's the most loving or right things to do in that specific moment. For example, sometimes telling the truth is the right thing, but sometimes it might hurt someone for no reason. So ang situation ethics would say we have to look at the situation first before deciding. So that's the meaning of situation ethics. Nakadepende ra sa situations. These three philosophies show us that ethics can be about rules, results, or circumstances. Each one judges right and wrong in a different way.